weekend we're at the Ridge, Global Time Attack Speed Summit. We're here because we're going to be testing out our new splitter. We're going to be testing our new splitter influences, splitter ramps that you can't see underneath this bumper. We're also going to be testing out these new wing end plates. These are adding some extra downforce for us, reducing drag. We're going to test all this at 150 miles an hour down the front street here at the Ridge. Well, all I know is I got to get the car out and put the car here because I'm going to sleep in there tonight. It's going to be cold and wet, just like last year. It's always an atmospheric river. Every time we come here, it's an atmospheric river. And then I have to sleep in a trailer that leaks.
And this is
you would think I would buy a hotel room, but apparently I'm too stupid. I think our whole goal for this weekend was to get into the 140s here at the Ridge. Track is a 2.7 mile lap. You know, the goal is to get into the 140s. My personal best at this track is a minute 52 and some change. 152.44
in the dry.
In the dry. But that was also, the car is constantly undergoing a different setup every time I drive it, right? So the car's got different springs in the front. We're going to be running a new compound to me this time around. I've never driven on this compound before.
When was the last time you were at the Ridge?
Last year.
It was last year.
But again, the car had a different setup on it, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, it's going to be completely different. Plus the driver's seating position, everything else has been moved in the car. So the car's going to feel different from that perspective. It's going to feel different from, different tire. It's going to feel different because it has, different aero on the car again. And hopefully this all holds together perfectly well. This part.
Do you want to explain this to me?
Saturday morning was a little bit difficult for us. We're riding on a brand new tire compound. To us, the new Toyo Proxy R. It's a new compound versus the RR. That first session on Saturday, things were a little bit slick and we were fighting the car quite a bit. The steering wheel was, off center, mostly due to the fact that after I had my alignment done, we found that the lower control arm, which is adjustable, had one of its major bolts loose, so it wasn't adjusted correctly anymore by the time we got to the track. So the car was a little bit out of alignment for that first session. We weren't aware of that, so we had to get off the track, mostly because it was slick and we had a bad alignment, to see what we could do to realign this car and hopefully get some better lap times out of it. Second session went a little bit better for us than the first session. We had corrected most of the alignment issue, but we still had some more corrections to do after this second session still to figure it out. Track was drying up a little bit more, still trying to get used to this new slick, trying to put some heat in it, figure out where its grip is and where the grip isn't on that new tire, and just trying to get used to new spring rate for this car at this track. So interesting drive. This is the third session on Saturday, hot lap. We actually got a really decent lap out of the car, not knowing that we had a lower control arm pin issue on the passenger front wheel. It's a typical issue for Datsuns, especially for, you know, the Z chassis. If you're driving them really, really hard and pushing the limits of these things, of course, those pins have a tendency to stretch. This pin in particular, it's been in the car for over 5 years. We've had nothing but big sticky race slicks on this car for 5 years, really putting this thing through a lot of abuse. So I'm surprised this lasted this long. A few weeks prior to this, we were at Sonoma doing some test laps with new spring rates and some new aero stuff and things like that, testing things out before we got into this race weekend. And I was riding some curbs pretty hard there, and I think that that's what ultimately was the killer for this particular pin, you know, for this weekend. I mean, granted, that pin's been in the car, like I said, for almost 5 years, so it's done its job. But regardless of that, regardless of the issues that we were having, you know, the T3 suspension components still gave us a lot of control. We were able to really pull out a really decent lap, a 153 here at the Ridge with a car that has, you know, some good aero on it, and you know, we're pushing maybe 310 horsepower at the rear wheels at this point. So I'm still pretty proud of this lap, to be completely honest. It's only 1.2 seconds off of my best time, my personal best at this track. So to do that on a slower tire, on a slower track, because it's been washed out and things like that, the day prior to this, feels pretty good. So not a bad effort from us.
One of the original goals we talked about was basically, do the parts fly off the car? Well, none of that's happened, and you were going at speed. So nothing. So that's positive.
You're absolutely right. The Aero has stayed on the car completely. It's worked out extremely well. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised by that. All this Aero stuff has held on super well. All of that's worked out super well. I've never come to this track before where the splitter has not come off at speed.
I can verify that statement.
And this time, it worked out. Actually created so much pressure, we actually kind of broke my fender flare. But that worked out. Wing end plates worked fantastic. So we're gonna put those on the website for sale. Those work really, really well, increasing downforce, reducing drag. We're done for the weekend, but we get to take a car home that is all in one piece, and that's more important than trying to make this lap this weekend. So.